Okay, we are actually back with another banner review. So Hoyoverse just basically dropped Phase 2 4-star character banner official announcement. It is kind of a weird timing. I believe they have actually done that before, but that wasn't consistent, so I actually was quite surprised. But as usual, there are a few things that we need to discuss, especially on this banner. Guys, if you are someone who is just deciding to pull for some of the 5-star character that's going to be appearing on this banner, because yes, it is going to be Xiao and Yae Miko, but the most important thing also is going to be the 4-star on the banner, as there are a pretty huge deciding factors in terms of pooling. And so without further ado guys, let's just dive right in. First off, let's discuss a bit about the 5-star character, and we'll look into Xiao here. Now, I've already discussed quite in depth into the 5-star that is appearing on patch 4.4 here in this specific video. However, I'll just be covering some of the most important notes on Xiao right here. Is that overall, Xiao is still going to be pretty much a preference character, for there are so many competitive hyper carries out there if you are considering the meta. But obviously, since Xian Yun is there to basically help Xiao out, plus Farazan is technically on Xian Yun's banner, if you want Xiao, this is the perfect time to actually pull for him. However, it is going to be very primo gems intensive, but you do need to invest in both Xian Yun, Farazan as well as Xiao basically on back-to-back banners. However, of course, with the help of Xian Yun, Xiao's damage is going to be having a bit more of a competitive edge in terms of the meta. Not to mention, Xiao's overall damage is already pretty good overall, guys. So generally speaking, he's more or less still a very viable character to be using and will still be able to work in most of the Abyss. But overall, once again, the important note here is that he is for your preference gameplay. If you like Xiao gameplay, you want to invest into him, then that's obviously totally fine. But yes, if you are into the meta, Xiao is definitely not going to be the character that's worth investing at this point in time. Alongside with Xiao, we have Yae Miko. Obviously guys, Yae Miko values is still there because she's a really good character that works alongside with Visual as well as specifically in aggravate teams. Plus her sub DPS powers is still really good. So if you do actually pull for Yae Miko, she will be a value on your account for a pretty long time. Very easy character to play guys, because you just need to set up 3 of her E skill and then all of that will be done for you by her turrets. And so we know Yae Miko's pooling values are still there. However, is it going to be worth it for you to invest into your primo gems in the current banner if you are more of like, you know, a free to play or a lower spending player? Because that is pretty questionable due to the 4-star that is coming on the banner. For this time around, we are seeing Xinyan, Ningguang and Yao, which of course overall, as we can see on the 4-star roster, it is already one of the worst banner we have. For Xinyan, quite literally the worst 4-star we have in the game. Ningguang, most of us ain't going to be using her. She does have a little bit of value here and there in terms of geo comps, but realistically speaking guys, we're almost never going to be using Ningguang most of the time. So the only character that has very good value here is Yao, which makes things a little bit better for those of you who are pulling for Yae Miko, because Yao is a perfect character to run alongside with Yae. But obviously, it all comes down to luck, whichever 4-star you actually get whenever you're pulling. So if you do decide to pull for Yae Miko, I really wish you good luck. However, for Xiao players, absolutely none of the 4-star will be here for him because everything is already perfect on Xian Yun's banner. So I'm not really sure what Hoyoverse is actually doing, but they kind of puts things in a situation where if you're getting Xiao anyway, you're going to be pulling for Xian Yun's banner nonetheless. So they just decide to put in some really bad 4-star character onto the second phase banner, knowing that you'll be going for Xiao anyway. So for those of you who are planning to pull for Yae Miko, if you kind of want to wait for another banner, it is totally fine because the 4-star roster isn't really too good. Though however, I do say that Yao has pretty good pooling value, so if you have at least 1 copies of Yao on your account, that is already pretty good. So overall, this banner is still a little bit worth going for if you are trying to go for Yae, but it is definitely really bad if you want to go for Xiao. And then alongside with that is definitely going to be the weapon banners. Now overall, the 5-star options that goes alongside with each other is pretty nice. Jade Spear still has a pretty good value overall in terms of attacking power. Now it's not going to be the best spear in any way, it's kind of like a second second and mid-tier options whenever you try to go for a DPS weapon. Jet Spear also sometimes get outclassed by Staff of Hopa too whenever you want to use it on Xiao, but it is a very universal weapons, so if you do actually get a Jet Spear when trying to go for Kagura's Verity, it is still totally fine. Now as for Yae Miko's weapon, it is also a pretty nice weapon, though many of the DPS catalysts user can't make full use of the passive talent, but the crit damage and the overall base attack is really good on this weapon, and many of the time you can already make use of the first stack of Kagura's Verity's passive, so overall the 5-star is decently fine regardless of which weapon you actually get. If you do get it for your desired 5-star character, then yes, congratulations. Now in terms of the 4-star options guys, I'd say it's pretty fine, not that great and not that bad either. Now the Lion's Roar is rather a little bit bad because most of us ain't going to be using it. Really hard to be a fitting options for many of the sword character, as well as the Lithic Blade is fine. Not the best options many of the time, but if you do actually get the copies of it and you're lacking in Claymore options when you're building your Claymore character, then that is still fine. But in terms of the Fav Lance, Wizards, as well as the Stringless, those are some of the better weapons options we have out there, especially for the Wizards. If you do get it at R5, many of the time it does rivals that of the 5-star options, especially when you're in kind of like situation when you try to take out your enemies within one rotation, then yes, Wizards at R5 sometimes does beat out some of the 5-star options. So overall 4-star weapons here is still pretty nice. Therefore, weapon banner this time around still has its own value guys. It's not really that bad if you do want to go for the weapons. So overall I do wish you good luck in terms of pulling for the weapon banner. Now we don't really have too much info in terms of discussing for future banners, as I've already discussed a little bit about this on yesterday's video in terms of Chiori. We know that she's going to be here, but as we have mentioned as well, if you're not going to be pulling for Geo character gameplay, then Chiori is most likely going to be skipped, and she's the only new character we have in terms of patch 4.5. Therefore, technically speaking, you can still safely pull for any of the 5-star you want to go for in patch 4.4, and then from there most likely you will still be able to save for Alakchino, the Knave, who's most likely going to be in patch 4.6 for you. Now once again, if you are looking into pulling for the 5-star character in patch 4.4 yet you're still on the fence, then I do have a very in-depth video right here going through everything about the 5-star character, as well as if you don't really know which 4-star or constellation to choose for the 4-star leeway free character, that is also covered in this specific videos of mine guys. So be sure to check out those 2 videos as I'm sure will be very valuable to you. I hope that this video has been very informative for you. If you do have any questions guys, just leave it down in the comment section and I or some other lovely Genshin player will get to you there. I really appreciate you guys staying with me till this part of the video guys, and with that I wish you a super day and I will catch you on my next video.